Welcome to the first this fall in the Overby Sports Journalist series that we're having, and we're starting again. We had a couple of them this spring, and they went well, and so we're kicking, I guess I should say, tipping things off again with a basketball coach. So we appreciate Coach Yolett, McPhee-McCuin being here with us today, the head coach of Ole Miss women's basketball. And what I told her yesterday when we discussed this a little bit was I wanted it to be a situation where, as students, it was more than just you listening to necessarily us talk up here. I want you to be able to ask questions. I want it to be kind of almost a media type situation, since that's what we're trying to learn how to do and be a part of in this building. So first of all, I want to thank a couple other people, Dr. Will Norton in the back of the Overby Center, and Dr. Charles Overby of the Overby Center as well, with helping us put this on and allowing this to go forward, and Sarah also for really doing a good job helping us and get this planned out. So, Coach Yo, you're entering your fourth season at Ole Miss, and rather than me reading your bio or kind of telling your path to here, maybe you could catch us up with that and just kind of get things started with that and your journey to Ole Miss.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, everybody. Who do I look at, you or them?
You
Okay.
can talk to them or back and forth.
All
Or,
right, just a little quick about me. I was born and raised in Freeport, Grand Bahama. So I came over to the United States to play college basketball. I got my undergraduate degree from the University of Rhode Island, and was getting ready to go back home and maybe jump into politics a bit, or just start like be a CEO of something of some sort. And my college coach pulled me aside after our last game, and she said, "I think you need to get into coaching." And so she got me into a program. I started from the lowest level of junior college, and ever since I've just been working my way up. I'm now in the business 17 years, and I've been a head coach. This is going on my eighth season. I was a head coach at Jacksonville University in Florida, where we had a lot of success. I took a program over similar to this, just a different beast, because this is the SEC, the number one conference when it comes to a lot of sports, but women's basketball for sure. So at Jacksonville, it was the climb was similar, but the conference was a little bit easy. That being the Atlantic Sun. So got here on a total rebuild, like total demolition style. Had to like knock everything down, almost find new soil to build on, and I've been building ever since. And last year we made the leap we needed to make, and now in year four we're looking to go to the NCAA tournament and beyond. So that's me in a snapshot. I'm married with two kids. I have a dog. His name is Blue. Uh, he's an American pit. My daughters are 9 and 4, and my husband works in admissions here at Ole Miss.
I thought he was going to join us. Is he coming
He
today?
did say that, but it's no telling what he's up to.
He may drop in. So you kind of mentioned one thing throughout the course of that. What's it like to coach in the Southeastern Conference? I know you had
Yeah.
built for that. I'm sure that most people go into coaching hoping to get to the highest level of the sport, which
Yeah.
in college this would be. So just the
Yeah.
challenges and being able to coach in this league.
Well, there are 14 head coaches in the SEC, and out of the 14, I think 8 have had Final Four or won a championship. So, I mean, the best of the best are in this conference. And so it's an honor to be amongst those coaches that got at least 20 years as far as age over me, probably 15 on average. So that's been great. It's extremely competitive. Every night is dog eat dog. You just can't come out and have an off night. It doesn't matter what you're ranked. It's ultra competitive. Our conference is known as the Baby WNBA. So pros play here every night. We're playing against young ladies that eventually will be able to make a living by playing the sport. And luckily, I have a few on my roster now because at first I didn't, and it was very rough.
You got to the WNIT last year, and that was a great step
Yeah.
for you, and actually got to play a game fairly local. So you
Yeah.
had some support. Was it a talk about that just a little bit, getting to that level last year with the WNIT, and how it came about that y'all played at Collierville, Tennessee
Yeah.
High School, which is the closest high school in Tennessee to
And
here. So
yeah, I mean, it was incredible. A lot of people, we were on the bubble for the NCAA tournament. We did not get picked to go to be one of the 64 teams. And honestly, I felt like I would have loved to go to the tournament. But at the same time, I was excited that we would be able to get more than probably, let's be realistic, one game. At the time, we were the 10th youngest team in the country, so we had a lot of growing up to do. And then it really worked out because I got COVID right before the tournament, so I missed the first 3 games. And you talk about nerve-wracking watching it on TV. Now I know how my parents feel. But we were able to make it to the championship game and had a lot of success. And usually, if you study women's basketball, like it's like steps. And so when you see teams go to the NCAA tournament, they've probably been to the NIT before. And so it just shows our trajectory of where we're going. And I thought we learned a lot. And then in the off season, we worked really hard to plug some holes that we had as far as our roster and depth is concerned.
right.
And I'm really pleased with that. Really excited about what we have this season.
So before I turn it over to them to ask some questions, I'll ask one more concerning media coverage and all
Oh.
the things that you have to do at this level. But in talking to students that someday may be at your press conferences or at your events and covering it,
Yeah.
um, what are some pointers that you would give them in covering sports in general, or basketball, or anything else that because I mean, there's a variety here. There'll be people that will write. There'll
Yeah.
be people that will cover for TV or radio or the internet or all those types of outlets. Now, just some suggestions and some things you might let them know that are insights
Yeah.
from you.
Well, every coach has a love-hate relationship with the media. I'm just gonna be completely honest. If we're winning, we love you. If we're losing, we don't like you so much. I remember I was in year 2 here, and we had just signed the #1 recruiting class in the country. I mean, in the SEC, number 13 in the country. Like, let me just educate you all. Like, that's not supposed to happen. Anyway, it happened, but in order for it to happen, we had to suck the year when we did it. And I had a couple people reach out and they said, Coach, keep your head up. Don't listen to the news. So I'm like, what are these guys talking about? I get on Twitter and it says, and I'm in year 2 of my contract. Like, I just got here. Is Coach Yo on the hot seat in bold print? And I'm like, what an idiot. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what do you mean I'm on the hot seat? Like, this is what I'm thinking. Like, this is year 2. Like, who's on the hot seat after year 2 of a rebuild? But at the same time, I respect the fact that you all can practice the First Amendment and can say what you want. I just think that the media needs to cover both good and bad. You get what I'm saying? Like, most times, if it's something bad, you guys hop on it because it's clickbait. But what about something good? So, like, if a coach gets accused of something, obviously you have every right to report it. But what happens when they get exonerated and it was a lie? Like, I never see that stuff given the same energy as one would be for it to be something negative. Also, I think the best media, or journalists, or are people that are really passionate about their craft, not just knocking out a story because you feel like you need to knock out a story. This is a relationship business. If you have a great relationship with us, most times we will let you in on stuff. You will know stuff. There will be a honest working relationship. Like, I know if I'm doing really bad, David Johnson or like these guys, they're gonna say like, "Hang, yeah, Coach, you really sucked the other day," right? I respect that, but I know that they're doing their job and they're just not coming out the blue. They look at a little stat sheet and they give a story. So I think you have to be invested. I've seen a lot of young talent move up the ranks because I just think the profession in general needs young, fresh faces that understand the way the sport is going in general. And there is a lane for you all, but you have to be passionate and serious about what you do. Coaches know if you know what you're talking about versus you don't, and I still think that there needs to be a human factor, and you all may disagree, in what you all do. I watched the other day, someone had lost a parent, and the first thing the interviewer said was, "Oh yeah, I just found out you lost a parent." Like, come on, like, how would you feel if you lost a parent? You know what I mean? Like, or I can't stand the really, really bad questions. Like, we lose, we get our butts beat. "Coach, how you feeling?" How the hell do you think I'm feeling? We just got our asses kicked. How about rephrasing that and saying, "Coach, it must be tough. I know you're not happy with the performance, but can you expand on it?" Same thing, but it's just a different way. You will get more out of me instead of you asking me how I'm feeling when the obvious is I'm probably embarrassed. I'm probably ready to go attack my players or something like that. I will give something short. So it's being engaging, being invested in whatever it is that you're covering. It always goes a long way.
That is everything we needed to cover in the How about that? Great answers. So I do want to turn it over to you guys and let you ask some questions. We do have a mic here. Can we get somebody to pass it around to you, Sarah, or you can appoint somebody?
Ask me anything. I'm the open book. I'll let you know.
She told me that yesterday when I said, we'll just see how it goes. We'll ask a few questions. And she said, ask me anything.
No, whatever.
So,
I don't care. I'll talk about it.
So this is your opportunity. So I know some people have some questions.
Hey, Coach Yo, I was just
Hi.
wondering, what's your most memorable encounter with the media, good or bad?
Oh, wow. Well, we had won the championship at Jacksonville. And in the first round, we had the luxury of playing the number one team in the NCAA, which at the time was South Carolina. So everyone that knows me knows that Don Staley, the head coach, is a mentor of mine, right? So we get on the podium like, this is NCAA, and an AP reporter goes, "Well, I know it's your dream to be like Don Staley, so, but can you tell me why you?" It was like something like totally belittling. And I looked at him and I said, that is not what I said. Like, I couldn't even focus on the question because I had to fact check them right then and there. Like, I didn't say it's a dream to be Don Staley. Like, I'm Coach Yo. Like, she's a mentor of mine. I watch her and what she's done, but I don't want to be her. So sometimes I catch myself like having to fact check. And so that kind of bothers me. A lot of time media will use my name as clickbait. So they had like some drama the other day in the WNBA, but then it goes catch up on Coach Yo's thoughts, but it was like thoughts about my season, but it was very misleading. And so I hate stuff like that because I'm like, whoa, I didn't have anything to say about the drama that was going on with that. And then when I clicked on it, I was able to sift through and I was like, okay, this was just clickbait because I have 25,000 followers. You want to use my name, you know? So that's frustrating. A good thing is I remember my rookie year, I kept tweeting at all the media in Jacksonville. Like every time we have a win, like, oh, you know, I'd love for you all to come to a game. And I just kept like tweeting at them all the time. And then we started to have success and all of the media was there. And that was pretty cool. So, you know, it just showed that my, I guess my trolling was not in vain.
Another question.
Hi, Coach O.
Hi.
My name is Ruby. I have a question about kind of just in terms of recruiting.
Okay.
You've been very popular on all the social medias, make TikToks with your players, and it's kind of paid off because
Yeah.
of your recruiting. How do you think that will be going moving forward in the sport? And how important is it to be progressive with, you know, interacting with your current players as well as your hopeful players?
Yeah, thanks, Ruby. I mean, it's kind of been natural for me because I'm a millennial. So I'm 39. So, like, that's my generation. So I'm not like.
Not in my generation.
I'm not a baby boomer or anything. So it's been easy for me. But at the same time, like, I've really gotten into it because every time I meet a recruit, the first thing the parent says, oh, we know Coach Yo. And so my coach is like, how do you know Coach Yo? Like, you've never met her. Well, we follow her on Twitter or we follow her on Instagram. So that's been kind of cool. I can tell you this though, Ruby. One thing I've learned is like, now I put what I want to put. You know, some things I just really value as sacred. And before I was just like a little bit too open. But it does still give the perception that people have an insight. Let's think about any reality TV you watch because you get to like see what's going on. People want to know. So I'm pretty open as far as that's concerned. And it's been natural for me. And I just think like if you're not progressive, if you're not evolving with what's going on, then you're going to get left behind. And I remember getting a lot of flack earlier when I first came to the SEC from like older coaches and older media, like, oh, how do you have time? And that's how I know they're clueless, because how long does it take to put out a tweet? You know what I mean? Or a post. Lane Kiffin does it in 2 seconds. And so, but look what it has done for the brand. And so I try to use it to promote our team, but I also use it to engage with fans, and they're bought in, and we're really trying to build a fan base right now because we're bringing in top recruits and they want to play in front of a fan base. And so I've taken a personal challenge to want to go ahead and just engage and get people to have interest and come to the games. Hopefully they don't come out with something else because I can't keep up. Like I was with Snapchat and I totally died out, so I just can't do it. But I am on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram.
Hey, Coach, I got
Hi.
another question about recruiting. Whenever you're looking at a high school player or a transfer player, what do you look at generally or specifically in that player?
Oh, a lot of things. One, they have to be talented. Just because I don't care how nice they are, how much community service they do. If they can't make a layup, then I'm going to get fired. So talent is huge. But I'll also, if there's a 3.5-star kid and a 5-star kid, but the 5-star kid has really bad character, I will go with the 3.5-star kid, just because now so much stuff is put out on social media. You have to be careful who's representing your program. And so I try to stay away from bad character kids. I also, Ole Miss is a really fun school. Like I understand why people will want to come here, but what the ladies that I recruit most times are not in the South, and so Mississippi has a really harsh reputation, especially for people of color. So there is a lot of like people are really afraid to come to the state. And so we have to work really hard. That's why I'm on social media showing that, okay, yes, burning Mississippi, Emmett Till, those things happen, but Oxford's super progressive and inclusive. And then usually when they come, they're pleasantly surprised, but sometimes we can't even get them on campus. So it takes a certain type of student athlete to want to come and build a legacy for themselves and block out the noise. So we look for that as well. But talent, character, and someone that has the swagger to believe that they can come and build something. Girls are a little different. Like guys, they'll go, they don't care, like they believe they can fly, you know? But girls are like, oh, well, I don't want to go if my friend doesn't want to go, or whatever the case may be. So I try to find those that have that personality, like myself, that was like, cool, I'll go to Ole Miss and turn it around, you know? I need young people with that type of attitude.
Hey, Coach.
Hi.
In what ways has the college transfer portal changed women's college basketball and just college sports in general?
Oh my gosh. Tremendously. I've always been a proponent for the one-time transfer. I never understood why a normal college student can transfer and someone that was on scholarship couldn't. I do understand that we invest a lot financially in these players, but if you get it wrong, you get it wrong, and you should leave. And so I'm for it. What it has done, it has saved a lot of coaches, because before, if you were to miss out on a kid, or if a kid were to leave, or I don't know, whatever the case may be, you can really build your roster back extremely quick. And then before, I would have to go get a bunch of freshmen, and that's like the worst. So because they don't know what they don't know. So now, like for us, I don't know if I'm going to have a lot of freshman point guards. I like a seasoned point guard, more mature, been through a couple more wars before they come to me. And so I prefer that. So now I can really pick, do I want older in this area, or do I want to go with young and go through the growing pains with them? Well, the way our business is, they don't give you a lot of time. I told you in year 2, they asked if I was in a hot seat. So I had just signed a new contract too. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, do your research. But so for me, I love it, but sometimes I hate it, because I have to recruit my players even when they're on the roster, because they can look to the left or right and say, I'm going to go over there because I like that. So it's a fine line, but you have to evolve.
I know Ben had a question, but he's way back over there where you were. So if anybody over here has one to begin with, you might get one over here and then move that way.
Hi,
Sorry,
Coach.
Ben.
Hi, I love your mask.
Thank you. Okay. What, as Ole Miss students, what can we do to help your team as the season is almost here and the games are about to begin?
Great question. Coverage. Our practices are always open. You all are more than welcome to come and give your own perspective, whether it's, hey man, they suck, or, they got they're up to something. I don't care. Any news is good news when it comes to our sport. So you all are more than welcome to come and check our practices out. We go 1:30 every day, except for Wednesdays. And, just being invested. Come to the games. We have media days all the time. I know Tyler reaches out. Come and show face. I think it'd be cool too, because some of my players, I just don't think you can be what you can see. And so, Like if my players see you all, they're like, oh, I can get into, that arena. And I think it's cool. And, like I said, I do think that you all are the future. So why not get quality reps with someone that believes in, you all achieving whatever it is that you want to achieve. So coverage, and if you see me talking about something and you're on social media, retweet me so that your friends can see it. I'm usually inviting someone to a game.
One thing she did mention was Tyler. We're going to introduce Tyler right now, and I meant to do this at the beginning, but Tyler Wooten is it assistant or associate director of communications? Associate director of communications in the athletics communications office, and he works with women's basketball and
He keeps us afloat.
see, so he's very important. But he's someone that you might get to know as well, because some of you are going to go into media relations or media communications or athletics communications, and so I just want to make sure, Tyler, you know that he is here, and after it's over, you might have a question or two for Tyler. We should have a program with Tyler at some point. He's lost his voice.
Karaoke.
Now we're ready.
Hey, Coach O.
Hi.
So programs across the country have been dealing with this just like y'all, but how difficult has it been for y'all to deal with COVID the past 2 years?
It's been crazy, because when the students weren't allowed to be on campus, we were. And I was just telling, it's funny you asked, I was just telling a buddy of mine that I swear I have PTSD when it comes to like COVID testing, because we got tested every single day. So especially when we went to postseason, like we were getting tested every day. And then before that, we were getting tested like, was it 3 times a week? So it was super intense. It was intense for me because obviously, like, if someone turned up positive, that affected what I was doing. So the night before every test, I felt like I had COVID before every test, and I never slept because I would get a text at 5 a.m. in the morning, and it would either say, you got a couple positives pop up, or the coast is clear. So that was like another added stress. It was stress for our players because they didn't have an outlet. They need to be able to interact with normal people. They need to be able to get out. We were basically on lockdown. We couldn't do anything. There was a lot that was sacrificed. Some of my players did not even go home for Christmas. And so I couldn't even imagine not being able to be with my family for Christmas. And they had to make those decisions because they went home, some did, and we came back, and then we had a spread. So we were shut down for 16 days. And so it was extremely stressful, just like everyone. It has changed my perspective and how I coach. We were able to get a lot done with less. And so I don't practice as long now, which my players love. And in the summer, I gave my players 6 weeks off so that they can just reset and refocus. But we're grateful to be where we're at. Our whole program, everyone in our program, including practice players, are vaccinated. And so that's a monkey lifted off of my back, because I had a couple that were not in favor of being vaccinated. And then we just kept educating them. And then I think what sent them over the top was when they realized that they would miss games, like Kyrie Irving, because we're going to California, New York. They're like, whatever, you're not vaccinated, you're not playing. So I think we had 2 that were on the edge, and that sent them over, and they went and got vaccinated. So it's been tough, but I'm really excited to be back and be out in front of you all. They're good questions, man.
Hi, I'm Annie, and I'm currently a marketing and fan engagement intern at Ole Miss Athletics, and I get to work with the women's basketball team this year, which I'm really excited about.
Shoot your shot.
But I just kind of wanted to know what kind of advice you had for women who want to work in the sports industry.
Yeah, as soon as I walked in, I totally noticed that there were a good amount of women in here, and so kudos to you all for like getting in and being passionate about this field. I would say, I think every room needs diversity. Whether you're in a room with a bunch of women, you probably need a couple guys in there to give that perspective. Same thing, you're in with a bunch of guys, you need a female perspective. And so I would say, don't just listen to the guys in your department if you feel like you have a better hunch on how to promote women's basketball. You get what I'm saying? A lot of times I'm in rooms when majority are white males. Okay? The farthest from knowing how to market a black woman is a white male. Let's just really be transparent here, right? But at least you're a woman. And so sometimes I need like a woman in there. I mean, Tyler says it all. He knows. He's like, Coach, we're bad at this, but he's locked in. So he's gotten better. Like he knows how to promote us. But I just think there's strength in having you in those rooms. And if there's something that you see that, for example, when I went to my first marketing external meeting, they loved the pictures of my girls looking mean. I absolutely hated the pictures of my girls looking mean. For them, it's like, oh, it's intense. For me, I have a lot of black girls. It's screamed angry black woman. And I wanted desperately to change that perspective. And so if you see like a lot of our pictures, we're smiling all the time because I need little kids to see the picture and feel warm. I don't need them to be like, oh, mommy, why is she so angry right now? You know what I'm saying? Like you could smile and still be competitive. And so these are little things. I think there's a time and place for everything. And so I would need you to just be who you are and fight for things that you feel will be as an advantage for us in our sport.
Hey, Coach Joe.
Hi.
My name is Caleb Harris, and so my question is, how big are you on giving second chances? Like, let's say there was a player who entered the transfer portal, and for whatever reason they left. So like maybe they were getting drunk, or maybe they got into a fight, and so like you saw him, and you was like, man, like she's really talented.
Yeah.
So how would that evaluation start, or like would there be an evaluation?
Wow, that's a good one. Before I felt like I was second chance you, and so I would always take chances on kids because I made some foolish mistakes when I was in college. Thank God social media, like we had MySpace, but it depends. I have to know the character. Just because someone makes a bad decision, that doesn't mean they're a bad person. But there are people that, I'm sorry, that are just bad people. So I try to figure out, did they make a bad decision or they're just a really bad person? Also, it depends on where my program is. If my program is very mature, then I don't mind bringing someone that maybe is a little immature. But right now my program is young and we're building, so I'm very careful on the type of person that I go and get from the portal. Now, I have 4 players from the portal and they all bring their own challenges. But we did a lot of research on who they are as people before we bring them in. It's just too much to lose right now for me to just be like, oh, you robbed some house? Okay, come on. The media, the coverage I get, I'm like, I don't even feel like dealing with that right now. So, but I usually go with my gut. If someone's really passionate and they really made a mistake and they feel awful about it, and we have a plan or a system in place for them to succeed, I will give them an opportunity. But they better be a 20 and 10 type kid. I ain't doing that for a 5 and 3 type kid. 5 points, 3 rebounds. That ain't worth it. I need 20 points, 10 rebounds. I'll do a little bit more research to see if I can help him out.
One down front. Sarah's on the go.
I can hear you. Yeah. Hi. Hi. I know. Yeah. Whew. Yeah, that's a good one. I just tell our women that, pressure is a privilege, so we have to embrace it. Before I was very nervous about saying it's NCAA tournament or bust, but then I'm like, I have to put these standards there for them to reach. And so like even lately I've been putting some crazy standards on them, and because I need to know who I'm going into war with. And so either you're going to step up and meet it, or you're not tough enough yet to do so. And it is in a special place. I appreciate you saying that. I think that our program is on the cusp of showing that we're going to be a legitimate program in the SEC, and that's important. Sometimes I temper expectations by just, if the media puts out something like last year, my guy David Johnson put out, the Rebels are an NCAA tournament team. And I was like, oh my God, no, we're not, So I would like quote tweet it and be like, oh, I don't know what this guy's talking about or something like that. Just try to downplay it. But if you want to be in this conference, you have to want to compete and fight. And I think we're at the place where I'm confident enough to say, we're here and we're serious about where we want to go. And so there's a balance. But it is a special time. Where do you know a 15 and 12 program can bring in the number 1 player in the country on an official visit, the number 20, the number 40? Like, these are legitimate players that are coming to check out Ole Miss because of what we've done. So, it's a balance, but, that's why you come to be in this conference.
Couple more. Got one way down here. You can go ahead.
All of our new transfers that came in, they're all impact players. I don't think they've flown under the radar. I just don't think people know them yet. They're all legit. They're all going to play really well for us. Let's see. We've had the freshman of the year. Kira's going to go top 3 in the WNBA draft this year. So it's no secret, no hiding her. I would say our newcomers, and then I'm excited about one of our players, and Deja Puckett's coming back from an ACL injury, and I promise you, if we had her last year, we would have been an NCAA tournament team, but she's coming back slowly but surely, and she's gonna give a lot of depth in the front court for us, and so I'm excited about her.
Another one.
In the back.
Back.
Go ahead.
You talked about making sure to keeping your roster and recruiting your own roster.
Yeah.
When you have a player who steps up and they're named the starter for that week, and maybe a second team or whatever.
Yeah.
Is kind of struggling with that. How do you balance being the coach and also, because you are going to pick the best player? How do you keep that player motivated, stay hungry?
Yeah.
Spot?
Well, usually I put that on my assistants. So, like, if I know someone's struggling, I would tell my assistants, like, hey, grab that player and, keep her motivated. Or if I'm really hard on a player, I will tell them, hey, have a talk, keep that player motivated, because it's tough. Everyone wants to play. I can't play everybody. I shocked the whole team the other week because I stopped practice and I said, you want to know why I'm not shouting? I said, because there's 16 of you all and only 11 are going to play. So y'all better figure out who's going to be in that 11 and who's not going to play. It's on you. Carry on, And so, like, they're super stressed right now because they're trying to be in the 11. And so it's very tough. But what's worked for me is being honest and we deal with analytics a lot. So it's really hard to say why you should play over someone if their numbers clearly show better. And that's really helped us. So they get to see everyone's numbers, including theirs. So we have offensive analytics and defensive analytics, and it's glaring. So usually that's what gets them over the hump. But that's why you lose players, because sometimes they don't either want to face the truth or they don't want to compete, or lastly, they don't want to be patient. And I'm not against any of it. You got to just see where you fit in. That's what athletics at this level is all about. I look at you all, it's like a sport for you all. Like, some of you all will rise to the top and some of you won't. Like, who really wants it? You all are athletes in your own right. And I would tell you this, like, I truly believe that in here we have future top tier journalists, future top tier media personnel. Like, you have to really want to do it. And coaches, we read everything that's written about us. And I sit around, I read every article, good, bad. The only thing I don't read is message boards. But I know if someone's talented or not. And the business that you all are in, it's about, like, who knows who. And so I could read an article and I can be talking to Pat Lowry and ESPN and say, oh, man, y'all looking for a writer? I read this. That's how it works. So don't think you're doing stuff in vain. Like, someone's always watching. Someone's always talking about something, and if you have good interactions, it could be a pretty good career for you.
Anybody have another one? Trevor?
Yeah, well, yes, we do have a couple that I cannot announce right now that's getting ready to happen, which was cool. One of the coolest ones I can talk about, because I don't have to say, like, who, but I was approached by an eyelash company. So my players love those. I don't know how they play in them because I can barely see if I have to put one on. But anyway, so there's a market, right, for all. Like, so we're not the starting quarterback by any means, but my girls have been doing pretty well with the NIL stuff. I don't get to promote it as much because we're not allowed to, but my tier 1 athletes have really been doing well, and we're on the cusp of a few deals for our whole team. So that's going to be pretty cool, that people just love what we're doing and they want to support us. I do think it's a game changer. I do not think it will be as competitive for women's basketball yet. Like football and men's basketball, I don't envy those dudes because it's like millions, hundreds, thousands being thrown around. And I'm just glad I'm not having to deal with that right now, but they have. And so I guess I'll watch them and try to figure it out.
One more. Right here.
Hi. Yeah, absolutely.
Say
okay.
that, tell them what, because they may not have heard the question.
So, well, we have a consistent hashtag that I had with me from my first coaching job in snow ceilings. And what that means is just no limit to what you want to do. Like, I have players that are in theater. I have a chemical engineering major. I have a young lady that wants to do, she's doing criminal justice and getting ready to work for the U.S. government. Like, I have different, I have a nurse, someone that did nursing. So, like, I truly don't believe in limiting opportunities for women or anyone that's around in my circle. But this year, our hashtag is we. And the reason why we came up with that, because, I mean, we need butts in the seats. We need people at our games. We need financial support. It's going to take our whole community. I'm trying to get our community to really back our women's team. And I know it could happen because I saw it done up the street. I don't want to say their name. It makes me cringe anytime I have to say their name. But there's a program up the street that sold out women's games. And so I know it can happen. Oxford's kind of funny because they'll get behind you if you're winning. If not, like, they don't want anything to do with you, I respect it. And so we is also women's empowerment. And so we've been doing a lot of stuff that is centered and towards women. So we had a women's empowerment luncheon where we had 100 women come, and Leanne Tui spoke, was our guest speaker. And I mean, it was incredible. A lot came out of it. I've been visiting sorority houses. So I've been to 3 so far. And before we tip off, I will be at every sorority house if they allow me to come. Just trying to get out and engage the community, but the women, because I think we need to support each other. And, wherever the women are, the guys come. So that'll help us as far as fan engagement is concerned. And that's what we're passionate about this year. Thanks for asking that. That was a good one.
So as we dismiss here
Yeah.
just momentarily, would you stay around just a few minutes and meet
Absolutely.
some people for 5 or 10 minutes? So
Thank y'all for paying attention. No one looked bored. Everyone was locked in. You had your
Normally-
media face. Like, that's how media look like, the whole time.
normally at the end of a press conference, which we'll say that this is, there won't be applause, but let's do thank
Yeah, thank you.
Coach Yo for joining us
Thank
today
you.
and being a part of
Yeah.
what you're trying to do and accomplish here, and we
Yeah.
appreciate you being here. So.